In the run-up to the release of Moana, the live-action remake of Moana, I'm watching and reviewing all of the live-action remakes from Disney, and been taking a couple of days off. It's been my wife's birthday. I did a bit of night fishing, took some time out for myself, as you always should. But let's talk about 2019's Aladdin.
I'm kidding. Watch this.
Watch out! You done wound me up. You ain't never had a friend like me.
So this movie was released in 2019. I saw it in the cinema. Coming out of it, I fully thought this was one of the better live-action remakes from Disney. Very much felt like a more original take. There's some original songs in there. It kind of felt like one of those untouchable movies, not from my perspective, but from general kind of film audiences. And we obviously had Robin Williams pass away not too long ago, and it's a really, he was one of his staple movies. And so just for a bit of context for me, Aladdin, I've never really grown up with it. Didn't see it at all growing up. It wasn't until much later that I saw Aladdin. Just one of those movies that I just never had the time to see. Like from when I grew up, I had a very small window of films like Aladdin and Disney movies and animated movies and kids movies. There's films like that. There was a very small window of time that I would have watched them, because I watched horror movies and action movies and all kinds of movies from a young age. So there was only a small window. And out of like the 4,000 videotapes I had as a kid, Aladdin wasn't one of them. I didn't own it. I grew up loving films like Jungle Book, Robin Hood, those sort of films. But Aladdin never really got into it until much older. So going in, I didn't have that kind of nostalgia effect that other people would have. And so the problems with the movie don't quite relate back to me in terms of comparing it to the original, because like these live action movies, you tend to go in and compare it with the original, right? So there's that. And this movie was directed by Guy Ritchie, which is really, really weird. Like, you look at his body of work, Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, Snatch, The Gentleman, he did King Arthur, Rock and Roller. Like, the closest that comes to these kind of movies is Sherlock Holmes that he did. But Aladdin just feels so different to everything that he's done. Not in a bad way, because I think this movie's very well directed. He also co-wrote this with John August. John August wrote Corpse's Bride, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, a lot of work with Tim Burton. The film stars Will Smith as the genie, Mena Massoud, Naomi Scott, Marwan Kanzari, Jordan A. Nash, and Numana Carr. A kind-hearted street urchin named Aladdin embarks on a magical adventure after finding a lamp that releases a wisecracking genie, while power-hungry Grand Vizier is after the same lamp that has the power to make their deepest wishes come true. So this review may contain some spoilers. If you haven't seen this movie already, it came out in 2019 and it's a remake as well, so the story's been around for a long time. So this is about my third time seeing the live-action remake. Again, saw it in the cinema. Second time not long after the cinema, because my wife hadn't seen it with me at that time, and then just now my third time. And I think that this movie's actually gone up a little bit for me in rating. Actually, I do think it's one of the strongest live actions. I really like the pacing. It doesn't ever feel like it's slowing down. And the acting in this is absolutely awesome. I really, really like Naomi Scott as Jasmine. I thought she was great in the movie. She's like a really powerful role in that. And they have a new song in this called Speechless, which I actually think is a great song. It's very Disney, very much akin to something like the songs from Frozen. With, it's got that powerful, high key song that just demands your attention as soon as it comes on. And there's actually a reprise of that song as well. There's actually a couple of reprises in this film of the same song, which you don't get all too often with Disney films. Will Smith is the genie, doesn't try and do Robin Williams' role. Like, he doesn't try and imitate that. He brings his own thing to it. Very much can be seen in his songs. Like, he does the songs as though he did them. Like, they very much remind you of his own actual songs and his own material. He pretty much does what you'd expect from, music in Men in Black, and he does the soundtrack for that, or Wild Wild West. He does his own thing here and it works. And I think he just brings something different to the role that wasn't originally there, while also respecting what Robin Williams did and what came before. Mena Massoud as Aladdin was charming, pretty good. Maybe a little bit wooden at times, but it can be kind of forgiven because I think you've got all of these other powerhouse actors around. Like, you can kind of forgive that. The one problem, one criticism I have with the acting or with the casting was Marwan Kenzan as Jafar. I didn't really see him as opposing or scary. He wasn't tall like you see in the cartoon, and like the facial features in the animation. He's got those kind of sharp, kind of long nose, like, it kind of looks like Hook, right? Or kind of like a traditional uh mustache twirling villain in the original, whereas this time he's kind of short and skinny, and he doesn't feel much of a threat when he doesn't have his staff. So for that reason, I don't know, I just didn't see him as much of a villain. Like, he almost over exaggerates his laughing to be an evil villain, and it doesn't quite work at times. The visuals are great, very very bright visuals. There's a lot of like golds and a lot of dark blues. You can even see that on, if I'll put up the poster here, you can kind of see the colors that they use on the poster. It's very much what you get throughout the movie. Lots of gorgeous night shots, lots of bright gold stuff within the castle, and when there's a lot of treasure involved in rubbing the lamp and stuff like that, they make use of that color palette really really well. And everything is framed really well. I was saying this about Christopher Robin's cinematography. I'd say the cinematography maybe not as good as that, but there's great cinematography in this one as well. Very much thought out, and again, real environments, real actors, not just CGI creatures. Obviously, have the tiger in this that are very reminiscent of the CG that we had before it with Jungle Book and Cinderella. But I think they stayed true to the original, and that's what matters. But they also bring something a little bit different with some new songs, an interesting cast. Just makes it enough to make it stand on its own. And I think that can also be toned to Guy Ritchie's direction. Like I said, Guy Ritchie is a great director, and to bring him in and do something completely different is quite impressive. Like I said, he's used to like these really gritty gangster English movies, and now he goes and does Aladdin, and it's so impressive to be done in that genre. And for someone just to come in and do a Disney movie from that background is really impressive to me. Of course, we've seen it all before. This story's been told time and time again. It's the classic Disney tale, as well as a classic, you know, remake of of an animated movie, but it manages to be a lot of fun, and that's what I liked about it. There was never a time in this where I was bored or kind of thinking, come on, move this along. It just goes at the right pace, it's at the right runtime, and it's pretty damn close to the original, thanks to, I think, Will Smith as well. Like I said, just a fun role. The musical sequences are great, the choreography is great as well, and the long take at the end of the over the end credits was impressive. Well, they do like a lot of use of like speeding up, or they film things slower and then speed it up to give it that kind of jerky dance effect, which I thought was quite clever as well. But then again, if you grew up watching Aladdin, I feel like you would probably see this as a waste of time, very much like, I guess, like me with Jungle Book. As much as I liked the Jungle Book remake, it's nothing on the original. It just makes me want to go watch the original. Same with Beauty and the Beast. So you could kind of say, why are they doing that? And you could also say that about the new Moana movie coming out, right? There's people that have grown up with Moana and are probably saying this and like, well, why? It's the same movie. My wife's the same. Like, she loves the original Moana, but she sees this new movie coming out as completely pointless. And I completely get that. But I feel like it all depends on what you're doing in that movie. If you're going to bring something new to the table, like Aladdin does, and like Christopher Robin does as well, it can work really, really well and work in its favor. It's not a movie that I'd instantly go back to watch. Like, if I was gonna say, like, if someone said to me, let's watch a Disney movie, this wouldn't be the first 3 picks, but it's fun, and I'll never complain about someone putting Aladdin on and watching it. Like, it's always a fun time, and I had a great time in the cinema when I watched it as well. And for that reason, I'm gonna say that this movie is cinema worthy. Guys, do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Do you like the movie? Do you hate the movie, or have you not even seen it? Let me know down in the comment section, and also let me know what your history with Aladdin is. Tell me, you know, did you watch this growing up? Is it a staple in your household? Because, you know, there's films like Jungle Book, like I said, Jungle Book, Robin Hood, Beauty and the Beast, and also DuckTales, Treasure of the Lost. Like, I've got to talk about DuckTales because I loved DuckTales growing up, and it's the Lost Lamp is very much a take on Aladdin with the DuckTales IP slapped on it. And I liked that movie a lot, so that was probably what I watched instead of Aladdin because you pretty much get the same story. But guys, I will see you with my next review, which will be the Lion King live action. Still got the Lion King, and I've also got Lady and the Tramp, Seven Dwarfs. There's a couple of other movies in there as well. And I'm also going to be watching the Evil Dead movies up until the release of Evil Dead. Very different kind of movie to this one. So stay tuned if that's something you want to see. And I'll see you real soon with the next one. Take care of yourselves.